Joining us now for our weekly partnership with the Daily Poster, we have a reporter for that outlet, Walker Bragman, who is out with a great news story. Great to have you, Walker.
Good to see you, man.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, our pleasure. Let's go ahead and throw the tear sheet up on the screen here. Quote is, "It's time to get back to the office. Facing a primary challenger and courting real estate interests, New York Governor Kathy Hochul is pushing to end remote work." Just break down for us what you found here.
So interim Governor Hochul has been pushing for really since the start of the month or last month to end remote work in New York. Now she's not laid out any concrete actions that she's going to take, but she is encouraging employers to bring people back. Now, what's interesting is that push was happening simultaneously with a surge in COVID cases. And I mean, that to me stood out. Like, that doesn't make sense. Why are we not encouraging remote work at a time when, there's still a very real risk? Now, admittedly, a lot of people in New York City are vaccinated, but that does not necessarily mean that the virus can't spread or that there aren't people who are vulnerable. And I tend to be of the mind that public policy should factor in the most vulnerable. And this pandemic will not be over until it's over for, those people.
And Walker, one of the things you're pointing to here is that the real estate industry in particular is pressuring Kathy Hochul very hard. What did you find in terms of the financial connections here behind what she's pushing?
So Hochul has long been supported by commercial real estate interests. But what's interesting here is that she's facing a primary challenge from New York's Attorney General, Letitia James. And James got a lot of real estate money too during her run. So the industry, I guess, is sort of up for grabs, or maybe up for grabs. And so this position does track with an industry goal of getting everybody back into offices, because the pandemic has seen a massive decline in the amount of office space that companies need. So that hurts property values, and it is in their interest to get people back to normal, or the pre-pandemic normal.
Yeah, that was the part that was really revealing to me, because I actually hadn't thought through the fact that anyone who has real estate interests, commercial real estate interests, are very much interested in getting people back in the office, because otherwise there just isn't as much demand for your properties and you're not going to be able to command as high prices. So you've seen a lot of sort of CNBC types making this push too, making the case that, people really need to be back in, productivity is better. But we didn't actually find during the pandemic, when white-collar workers were working from home, that they were any less productive. So what is the real case? Even once we are beyond the pandemic, if we ever, get to that point, I think people have enjoyed, in some respects, having the flexibility to work from home or move out of New York into other cities and have more flexibility within their lives.
Look, I think it was a game changer, honestly, in how work is going to be done. And I think we're sort of pushing against the tide, and it's somewhat futile. That said, look, I do think that this all sort of stems from the same place, that there is this mentality in this country that business interests are more important than human lives. And we have seen that on display throughout the pandemic, not just from employers who want their employees back, who are calling their employees back, or from commercial real estate interests who are funding or lobbying politicians or to push these back to work policies, but from the federal government too. I mean, our refusal to adopt an elimination strategy has led to hundreds of thousands of American deaths, and these waves, these continued ongoing waves of COVID that we keep seeming to have. And so I mean, it's a really big problem. I think it's a problem with our culture.
It's interesting too, Walker, because she brought back, she canceled elective surgeries in response to the Omicron variant. But as you're pointing to, at the same time, is saying we have to get every New Yorker back to work. It's like you have to pick one, right?
Well, this is where and this is where people lose trust.
Right.
Because they see that these two things don't go together. So then other statements that you make that may actually be
Right.
true about, say, like, hey, you should go get a vaccine.
They're gonna be like,
well, it
"I don't know
undermines your
about
trust
that."
when you actually are providing accurate public health information.
You know what's interesting to me is that the push to or the order that allows hospitals to cancel, that allows the state to cancel elective surgeries. I mean, that's focused on maintaining hospital capacity. We're still dealing in public policy that has acceptable losses. That's the basis of the policy, right? If you're concerned about keeping hospital space open, it's saying we're not really going to contain the spread. We're just going to mitigate the damage. And I think that is an unacceptable public policy outlook for anywhere. I mean, New York, it happens to be where I live, so it's frustrating for me on that level. But honestly, anywhere that is the policy is really disappointing and disheartening. I mean, we have a study back in May suggested that 900,000 Americans had died by, the true count, because official numbers are undercounted. Every epidemiologist I've spoken to has said the official numbers, they provide a baseline, but they're more than likely undercounted. So I think it's a real disappointing thing to see from the new governor, who came in promising that she would be different from her predecessor, open and honest and whatnot. And we're not seeing that play out.
Well, I think we probably have a slightly different view about, what the realistic position is in terms of COVID policies. But where I 100% agree with you is that real estate interests should not be driving, or any other profit motive, whether it's from the healthcare industry or from real estate interests, should be driving the decisions that are being made. They should truly be weighed based on public health and also quality of life. Even after the pandemic is over, if people were just as productive working remotely and they want to move somewhere else, they want to have that different lifestyle, they should be entitled to it. And it shouldn't be real estate interest or the boss class who are really determining what that future of work looks like going forward.
100%.
Walker, thank you for the great... Go ahead.
I was just going to say, at the very least, we should be encouraging remote work, because that is something that could tangibly affect spread. And look, something like 80% of office jobs in New York City are remote capable.
Yep.
Yeah, simple.
Great point. Absolutely.
Thank you, Walker, for a great report.
Thank you for having me on.
Our
No
pleasure.
problem.
Glad to have you.
Thank you very much.
And thank you guys for watching. Have a great day, and we'll have more for you later. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching.
That's right. Just as a reminder, you can become a premium subscriber today. Watch the full show completely uncut, our reactions to each other's monologues. You get to listen to it. You get to ask us questions, all that good stuff. Link is right there in the description or at breakingpoints.com.
Best of all, great way to say screw you to the mainstream media.